The wild horses aren't going to drag me off this floor until those people have heard everything I've got to say, even if it takes all winter. Filibuster!
H.V. Kaltenborn speaking. Half of official Washington is here to see democracy's finest show, the filibuster. The right to talk your head off.
We must never, ever, ever, ever tear down the only wall, the necessary offense that this nation has against the excesses of the executive branch.
The checks and balances which have been at the core of this republic are about to be evaporated. The checks and balances which say that if you get 51% of the vote, you don't get your way 100% of the time.
You've got majority rule, and then you've got the Senate over here where people can slow things down, where they can debate, where they have something called the filibuster. You know, it seems like it's a little less than efficient. Well, that's right, it is, and deliberately designed to be so.
I totally oppose the idea of changing the filibuster rules. I think that's foolish in my view.
That's why we have a Senate, is to amend and to debate freely.
The whole idea of the Senate is not to have majority rule. It's to force consensus. It's to force there to be a group of senators on either side who have to respect one another's views so that they work together and produce 60 votes on important issues.
I can understand the temptation to change the rules that make the Senate so unique and simultaneously so terribly frustrating. But whether such temptation is motivated by a noble desire to speed up the legislative process or by pure political expediency, I believe such changes would be unwise.
The Senate is the only place in government where the rights of a numerical minority are so protected. A minority can be right, and minority views can certainly improve legislation.
American people know that it's not just the voices of the senator from Kansas or the senator from Iowa that are suppressed when the majority leader cuts off the right to debate and the right to amend. It's the voices that we hear across this country who want to be heard on the Senate floor.
You just can't have good governance if you don't have discussion and different ideas brought forward.
Therefore, to my fellow senators who have never served a day in the minority, I urge you to pause in your enthusiasm to change Senate rules.
The filibuster is far from a procedural gimmick. It's part of the fabric of this institution we call the Senate. For 200 years, we've had the right to extended debate. It's not some procedural gimmick. Some in this chamber want to throw out 214 years of Senate history in the quest for absolute power. They want to do away with Mr. Smith, as depicted in that great movie, being able to come to Washington. They want to do away with the filibuster. They think they're wiser than our founding fathers. I doubt that that's true.
That if the majority chooses to end the filibuster, if they choose to change the rules and put an end to democratic debate, then the fighting and the bitterness and the gridlock will only get worse.